I would like to welcome to episode 12 of Home Visit my good friend from a long time ago, one of the best in the business, the head football coach of the Oregon Ducks, Mario Cristobal. Mario, how we doing, my brother?
Doing great. Awesome to see you, bro. Been a little while, been a minute, but certainly honored to be on here with you today.
I appreciate you, brother. It's been a long while. You went off to the left coast on me, and I miss you dearly. Miss your family. Our families. We can tell this now. Our families were really close, hung out together in Tuscaloosa, and my wife. Make sure Jessica knows. Aaron said, "Tell Jessica that she said hello." So we'll,
So,
we'll, we're gonna get into it, and home visit. We're laid back, and so I like to open up a little story about people that nobody know. And when I was in charge of recruiting, and you used to make me nervous the first time, I was like, you were like, Cisco, I got him. I got him. I was like, okay. And you put together this big, ambitious like schedule that you're like, hey, I'm going to take him to like 15 schools today. I'm like, Mario, it's Nick Saban. They're going to hold his time up or whatever. I want to give you an award because you are the only coach I've ever heard of to get Nick to complain about the grind you put him through. You literally took him, this is not an exaggeration. He was like, he called me and he was like, this guy is out of control. He knows what he's doing. We were in like 15 schools, in and out, back doors, no GPS. And so the question is, I mean, you didn't get him any lunch. He was hungry. He didn't eat his salad. He didn't get his chef salad for lunch. So, are you the only coach in America that can actually recruit South Florida without a GPS?
well, I hope that I can always recruit South Florida without a GPS. I think back in the day, there's a set of maps. I actually have them in my drawer, like right across the office right here. Such detailed maps, every school, every shortcut to get there, how to get there, the contacts at each place. And I know those things kind of change, but it was I'll tell you, it was a great experience getting a chance to take coach to all those places. The best part about it was laying out 5 different protein bars on the dashboard, knowing that he's gonna hate them. At the beginning, he just said, "I don't eat that stuff. What is that?" And then by 5, 6 o'clock, hey, is that one any good? Yeah, how about
Yeah.
I try that one? So, um, again, the combination of just the people down there, the experience down there, and of course, getting a chance to take coach around was certainly a tremendous experience for not only for myself but for the people that got and experienced a little time with him.
No doubt, no doubt. And speaking of that, and people would ask me, over the years, who are the best and all that stuff that I've worked with and recruiting and things like that. And I'm going to blow you up a little bit right here. So but I can say stuff like this now. You can't, but I can now. I got a little freedom here. I've worked with a bunch of them. And in my opinion, I think you're one of the best, if not the best ever, because and this is honest goodness truth. You had the most diverse recruiting area that I've ever seen, and you can handle it. I mean, you had South Florida, okay. You had the Northeast, so now you're up in Jersey and all up in Pennsylvania and all that stuff, and then you had Central Alabama. So I mean, I'm talking about the cultural swing and all that stuff, and now you're on the left coast and you're killing it out there. And I think part of that is kind of like how how good you are at relating to everyone, and I think that's a big part of recruiting. But here's the question: what is the in your time? What is the craziest place that you've ever gone to actually recruit somebody?
That's a rough one. That's a tough one. It is. I mean, my lord, I've been in crazy places and normal towns, and I've been in places that are just flat out crazy, and that's a tough call. That is. But I do remember doing a double in a day. How you have to see the parent and the prospect at
Yep.
the same time. I do. I do remember being in Houston, Texas, and in Nassau, Bahamas, on the same day before that clock struck 12. Before you turn into a pumpkin, right? As the NCAA. I do know that. I also remember being in Jamaica and in Central Florida in a similar situation where you have to visit the family member, right? Because you want to maximize the opportunity, right?
Yes.
You only have one contact a week, and you want to make sure that that if there's any way possible that you're able to see everyone and everything that does touch that prospect in his life. So yeah, there've been there've been crazy places.
Like people think that people, there are a lot of coaches listen to the show. There's going to be people who think, oh, he didn't do it. Guys, he did it. I promise you. It's the craziest thing. That's why I was asking. I mean, I didn't know. I couldn't pick one. I knew of several of them. I couldn't pick one. So the parents and the prospect stuff, you're a legend in that stuff. So that's awesome. All right. So one thing that you introduced me to that you didn't know is Cuban coffee.
Amen.
All right. So do you have a spot in Eugene that you go get Cuban coffee, or do you still make it yourself?
I make it myself. My mom sends a ginormous box every month with the real stuff from the motherland, as we call it.
Yes.
Then I also have set up a nice little coffee shop right at the kitchen on the 4th floor here, where they line up, man. They line up, and I charge them. Maybe not, but I charge them. There's a price.
There's a price.
Yeah, there's. Heck, since when you're 4 years old, your teachers wonder why you're the most hyper kid in class and you can't take a nap and you're bouncing off the walls. Well, it's because when you're 4, your Cuban mother is pouring a shot of coffee in your milk to go along with your buttered toast. So, and that's how the creatures, these Cuban young creatures, are formed.
I love it, man. Now you introduced me to it. I won't go into the whole story, but I don't know if you remember that we were in New Orleans for the Sugar Bowl, and you took me to a spot. We were waiting on. That was one of those days where we had to be there 4.5 hours before the staff meeting started, and you finally said, "Hey, let's go get." So you can't say that I can. That you had a little spot right on the corner, and I partake in it when I can get a hold of it. I like it. All right. So another thing, your workout routine. I mean, you're the ultimate grinder. You work all day, but you're going to get your workout in. What are we at right now? What's your current workout routine? What are we doing for workouts?
We're doing a lot. We're doing a lot. I don't think I want to get into the details of that, but we do a lot in the weight room and on the field work, and then some of the other stuff, some of the training.
No, I'm talking about your workout routine. I'm talking about Mario Cristobal's, not the Ducks. I'm talking about what are you getting swole doing?
No, that's what I mean. That's
okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. I like it.
That's what we do. It's you got to change the weight and the exercises. Over the years, you're in the surgeries you should have had while and so that part of it is it changes. The exercises change a little bit, and there's some adjustments. But no, we and the staff in all, we create a. It's not mandatory because that's not quite legal, I guess. But we do create time where we want to be a very active staff. We want to be a staff great every drill, every technique and fundamental. There, a lot of juice, a lot of energy on the field. So yeah, everybody's involved in it. I brag about a routine, but we get after it. We get after it big.
All right. So the other thing is, I think of all humans on the planet Earth, you sleep the least of anybody on the planet. So what is our current sleep routine? Like, what time do we usually go to bed? What time do we usually get up? Because I don't know if you ever sleep. I think you're kind of like I don't even know how you do it. But go ahead. Well, I know it can't be a lot.
Yeah. Well, I know we're out the door at 4:30. Like to start the day at right after that.
Yep.
It just varies. Then you catch up whenever you catch up. So, but I think that's normal. I think coaches are doing that in general. Now there just aren't enough hours in the day, and I like to be involved with as much as I can with the football side of it. I love being in the position meeting rooms. I love being part of our indie periods. I love being involved in special teams, and the only way to do it and get everything else done is to start the day that early, and sometimes earlier, and then just go till
go till you go, baby. Go till you stop. I love it. All right, dude. And so and you're a machine, and you really are. You're a machine. So and you're you are. I'm just telling. I can say that kind of stuff now. You can't see. It's fun. All right. So when you fly east, okay, during recruiting and stuff, which y'all are nationwide recruiting, does jet lag even affect you?
No, it doesn't. There are times, remember you did an unbelievable job setting us up for success and helping map out what we would do. And a lot of times, um, we had to go to maximize the days, right?
Right.
At least where you had an advantage, where you were catching workouts. It might not have made sense logistically on the map, but it made every sense in the world in terms of the evaluation. So the same routine, sometimes you had to go a little bit west first to take a red eye, land, shave in the bathroom at the airport and go right to the school and work the whole day like that before catching the last flight out to head back down south, or some of that track we had, that triangle of the Northeast, South Florida, and Central Alabama. So no, it doesn't affect us at all. We go as far west. I mean, we've gone to Hawaii, we go to American Samoa. I mean, heck, if you want to go to Australia, you can fly either way to get there, right? It's hours, give or take an hour or two. So we're putting in some miles, but no, that real long one does. But from coast to coast, it's been an easy adjustment.
Do you miss the humidity in the South?
No, no. I mean, I was always a sweaty kid, man. I mean, it's done me a favor. I mean, if the amount of pictures that I have, my mom's photo album, just big old rings under my arms, man, and all these sweat lines and marks. No, this is it's really unique weather. I mean, it's like nothing I've ever even imagined. I never thought that you could train. And the best thing for me being a line guy, you could train the big guys to be big. They could maintain just their mass, and you could extend these workouts to, nothing, of course, everything that keeps guys safe and healthy and whatnot.
Right.
But be surprised at their capacity with the climate the way it is. It's really impressive. It's really neat. We got the Olympic trials coming up now, and was talking to a couple of sports science guys about that. And they're like, oh yeah, no, it's real, and athletes know about it. So it's been a big bonus.
Awesome. All right. So, little football question here. And, I was like, we did a draft special like a couple of episodes, before the draft and all that stuff. And I was just, Panay Sewell was to me, it wasn't even close. Like, he was in his own class and then everybody else. Is he the best offensive lineman you've ever coached?
Yeah, he is. He is, and it's a shame that we only had him for 2 years. And,
Yeah.
that's a shame of the whole season. All these guys that plans to return, put a great season together, and it didn't work out that way. But he won the Outland Trophy at 19 years old. And Tyler, I'm telling you, he walked in at 360. He played anywhere between 30 and 60 all the time, and there was never a moment of just like laziness, loaf. I mean, it was always intense, explosive power and insane balance and body control, heavy-handed but light-footed, insane anchor. And then the football instincts are like, I have never seen that before, never. And then we had some awesome ones over there. And there's some closeness there in those gaps, but man, I'm talking about, he's the guy that because ball as good as anybody. He's the left tackle that you're running power pass left, and he's just with eyes on that play side linebacker, and he feels something hit his leg, and as he's double teaming, 4 hands on, eyes on the backer, takes a peek, realizes it's a backside guard, who in turn he starts, well, who's going to block the end? That's the guy. Presses off the double team and gets a hand on the end, all in 0.7 seconds. He's that advanced. His foundation as a football player and a future coach, he's gonna be a coach one day. It's just his blood it's just next level. He does have that spider sense, and man, that guy's just scratching the surface.
Yeah, because I was talking, I was like, all the way the draft is, to me, if I was from an NFL perspective, he was the safest pick in the draft. For me, period, any per position, whatever. If you asked me if I had one guy that was going to pan out, he would have been the guy I had. So for me, and of course, every time y'all are on TV, I watch you because of you and my man B Dub and all those guys. But I've only seen him and one other guy, in my opinion, in the last 10 years that I was like, yes, and that's him and Laramie Tunsil. Those are the two that I've looked at, and I was like, those are what they are supposed to be like. Like, they're in a whole different classification, and everybody else, they're good players. Do not get me wrong, they're really good players, but those two are in the stratosphere. And I was like, oh, because I was going to ask you that because you've coached some good ones. We'll get to in a minute. But
well, he's even a better person. I mean, if you meet that family's championship DNA through and through. His younger brother's here. He's a 260-pound Mike linebacker. so it's it runs in the family.
All right. So, I'm a big Nike guy. Always have been. Still wearing it. Wearing my Nike shirt here for you. With Phil Knight being an Oregon guy, do you have more Nike gear? Mario Cristobal, do you have more Nike gear than Tiger Woods?
I wouldn't know the answer to that one. One's I know that everyone needs to take a little stop, little vacation, and check out Nike headquarters to understand how impressive, how prominent, how regimented, how just insanely professional that entire organization is. And do I have a lot of Nike stuff? Oh yeah, I mean, we're their tier, like top tier.
Uno.
There's only one. Yeah, there's only one, and it's us, and then there's everybody else. So the performance gear that they come up with provide, because the uniform, I know everybody loves uniforms. I'm a lineman, brother. I'm wearing dark colors, same slacks I wore over in Tuscaloosa years ago. So I don't change, but the stuff that they produce is just cutting edge, just high end, just unbelievable company, organization, team. Impressive. They're like a ball club. They're like a high end franchise / ball club. They are off the charts.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so we've asked this question. It's a little funny question. So we've asked this question to like 5 different coaches, okay? And your name comes up. You've been the guy they've named every time. But celebrity boxing is very popular right now. And I was asking the question, if you had to put head coaches against each other, who would you want to see in a boxing match? And you've been in the match for like every coach, okay? And so what if you had to pick a celebrity boxing match, what 2 coaches would you like to see go at it?
I don't think I'd waste my money on watching 2 coaches. I just wouldn't. I don't think they're worth watching. There's a lot of stuff I'd rather watch than a couple of college coaches fighting. I'm sorry. I hope I'm not offending anybody.
Hey, you were the popular answer. You got all 5 of them. So that was awesome. All right. One thing a lot of people don't know about you that when I learned, I didn't know it until we got to know each other, is right after your playing days, you were on track to become a Secret Service agent. All right. Do you ever like look back in life, and then right at the end is when you started coaching all that stuff? But do you ever look back and wonder like how different your life was going to be, like your life, how that decision changed the rest of your life?
Well, every time I cut my hair, I realized my hair would look exactly the same. I mean, it's, faded out or whatnot. It was a really, at the time, was a tremendous goal for me. I was really all about it. I was going through that process while I became a graduate assistant coach, and I became a graduate assistant coach in a tremendous turnaround at the University of Miami between 97 and 2000, where it went from a 5-7 school to Vince Wilfork, Jonathan Bilm, Edgar James, Frank Gore, Jeremy Shockey, Reggie Wayne, Santana Moss. I mean, I got to experience that explosion, but the painful steps that go through it, and I fell in love with coaching, and now I don't look back. I love watching, government agency, federal, agency movies or whatnot, but that's about as far as
You would have been a good one now. I will say that. You would have been a good one. All right. So if you had done the Secret Service, if you had taken the Secret Service job, what would you have wanted your code name to be?
I don't know. I'm sure I would have had probably a better wrestling name. I don't be the Flying Plantain. I have no idea, man. The Cuban Mauler. I don't know if I would have had a good Secret Service special agent name, but
The Cuban Mauler. I like that. The
Very
Cuban Mauler.
So
All right. I saw Rocco on Twitter with a pick 6. Okay. I saw you tweet it out, and they're getting big, by the way. We're getting old. Has Rocco gone to the dark side of defense? I mean, does he get that change of direction from Jessica or from you?
Well, I mean, it gets worse than that. The other Mar Mateo's a quarterback, which, I really, I forced the Carl's Jr. burgers. I forced the extra pasta, put extra butter on there. I try to beef them up. These guys, they want to be skilled dudes. Because back over there, when we lived in Tuscaloosa, Calvin Ridley would throw them footballs. They became addicted to it. O.J. Howard, play with them. So yeah, Rocco is he's a big defensive guy, good offensive player too. They're very they're really good athletes, great kids. The speed. I mean, I'm a very short area quickness guy. There's a box that I am very comfortable in performing in, and they're outside the box. So yeah, all the speed comes from mom.
I know every time I see pictures of them and stuff because I haven't seen them so long. I mean, it's like, where did the time go, brother? I mean, mine are 14 and 13, and I mean, they were dude like little kids like yesterday. So anyway, it's tough. But all right, so you also had a stint in NFL Europe and playing overseas. What was the longest road trip you had while you were in NFL Europe?
Well, the trip out there was insane. And that's in essence a red eye is what we took out there when they restarted the NFL Europe. Phenomenal experience. I mean, I wish that was available today because the last couple cuts of every team got an opportunity to go out there and do it. But we were in Amsterdam, and the longest road trip was probably Barcelona. And staying out there, I believe we stayed near Sitges, if I'm not mistaken. I speak Spanish. Yo hablo perfectamente bien en español. Y imagínate, la vida entera me pasé hablando español. So for me, it was great. But I translated for the entire team. That's the problem.
Yeah, you were a busy guy on those road trips, I guarantee you.
It was a great experience. And you know what? They also gave us the day to stay there and just kind of see the world, which is, I've never seen it without football. So it was an awesome experience.
That's awesome. All right, so I did want to ask you about this. This is a little football question because I was curious because I hadn't talked to you about it. But when when the Pac-12 and COVID hit, and then you went, well, we're not playing. Well, we're playing. Well, we're not playing, and all that bouncing forth. And it was really tough on because you had some. I mean, you got some dudes out there, right? And so a lot of these kids thought they were not going to play, and so they, quote unquote, opted out of a season that they didn't think was even occurring to go and do that thing. How hard was it? Like, I mean, I know it, but was it hard for those young guys? I mean, they had to step up. You had a ton of young players that had to step up and play. I know that was hard, but at the same time, there's that part that they're getting experience for. They're going to be dudes this year. Like, what's the balance there?
Oh, no doubt. I think it was you look at it from 50,000 feet, way, way back, and you go, wait a second. Okay, so we're coming off the Rose Bowl. We end up number 5 in the country. We're going to graduate Justin Herbert, that veteran offensive line, a good slew of seniors, but got Penei Sewell coming back, Javon Holland, Thomas Grant, Brady Reed. You got a team to do it again. But all of a sudden, 3 months later, you lose all of those guys. It's like having 2 drafts in 1 year. And you're like, oh, okay, we've recruited well, but now we're going to be really, really young. We're going to have a lot of guys that have never, ever set foot on a field or gone to a packed stadium on the road. Well, at least it won't be a packed stadium on the road. It will still be on the road. And it was, I guess, the painful steps that you cannot skip, we didn't skip. We went through those things. And all in all, with all those new pieces and having a new coordinator on board, really proud of the players and the staff to still win a second, a back-to-back Pac-12 championship. And at the same time, oh man, we still have more in the tank and could have done some things better. So there were frustrating moments. There were really, I would say, just enjoyable moments, proud moments that go with it. And all in all, I think it made our program hungrier, knowing that, okay, this is really the next man up theory playing out in massive proportions. I'm talking about like multiple positions that now exited because of an opt-out or the pandemic, whatever it may be. So all in all, great learning experience.
Yeah, that was I forgot who I was talking with during the season. I was like, yeah, I said, but we went through a similar thing with that. We were at Arkansas State, and we just had this rash of injuries where we had like 22 season-ending surgeries. But the Ryan Applins and all those guys had to come and play as freshmen. But that year, even though we struggled, is what made them who they are. And I think they're still winning there. They haven't lost since, and so it kind of changed the whole program. So I'm excited. I know you can't say it, but I'm anxiously waiting for the fall in Eugene because I know you're gonna have some dogs ready to go. You can't say it. I don't want no bulletin board material, but I'll put it up there for you. So, all right. So I can't do a Mario Cristobal interview the first time, without bringing this up, okay, you were at FIU and I was at Arkansas State, and there was a game that will live in lore in the history of FIU and really Arkansas State too, that is nicknamed the Hilton Heave. And I'm going to take you back in time a little bit. Okay, there was fourth quarter. There was 2 minutes left in the game. Okay, and we just need to stop, and we're going to win the game. Okay, so we're up by 6. Okay, we're up 21-15. A reverse pass was called. It was handed a reverse to. It was going to be a reverse to Ty. He was then going to throw it. However, what happened was, so all the people listening, is the exchange was fumbled and it was kicked. I actually had to go back and watch this just to relive this. It's the first time I've watched it since, by the way. Kicked backwards 13 yards. And so all of our players thought it was a fumble, so they go to chase it. He literally just went back there, picked it up, and threw it as far as he could before, and it gets hit. And you had a guy down there fair catching a touchdown and beat us on the last second there. Did you like what's going through your mind on that play? There had to be, you were kind of be, oh crap. I'll say you were saying oh crap, but then yes, was that just for your side? How was it for your side?
It's like we drew it up, you know. Exactly like you practice it, right? Fumble it, kick it, let it fall right back in your hands, and then throw it off your back foot as you're getting smashed by 4 defenders. Exactly the way you draw it up. Unbelievable game, tremendous. I mean, to this day, I tell people all the time, the level of coaching, playing, competitive games in the Sun Belt Conference in those years, unbelievable.
Unmatched. It was awesome, man. And you didn't know you could be, and it's still like this today too. And this is the one thing, the Sun Belt, I believe this is the closest thing to the competitive size of like the NFL, because you could literally be the worst team in the league the year before and turn around and be the best team, go undefeated next year. And it's just so competitive and so close because there's so much parity in that league, and the coaching and everything else is unbelievable. But the thing that's crazy about that game, if now that time has passed and you see everything that's happened, is the butterfly effect that occurred from that play. Because if that play, just he gets tackled, okay, or kicks it the other direction, and we win the game, we win the league that year. And Steve Roberts probably gets the contract extension at the end of the year, and there is no Hugh Freeze. And then Hugh Freeze doesn't go to Ole Miss, and it's just it changed everything. And you and I probably would have never met because Nick would have never hired. I would have never been hired if I hadn't gone and did what I did at Ole Miss. From it's just crazy in my career that one play, how much it changed everything. So I know it was. And did y'all won it that year? Correct? That's y'all won it that year, right? Or was it the year after?
The year after.
Year after.
With with actually the tunnel screen of T.Y. Hilton against Arkansas State.
Yeah. T.Y. Hilton. There's 2 players that I really don't care to ever see again. It's T.Y. Hilton and Jarrell Jernigan. That's another one that was at Troy who was really good at that time. So.
Man, what a good player that guy was. What a good player.
Yeah. They tore us up. All right. So you brought up earlier, you were at Miami like during the heyday of the heydays of the heydays. I'm talking about the best of the best. Maybe we'll look back 15 years from now and have the same kind of thought of the players that are coming out of Alabama and this time, but not yet, obviously. But during your tenure at Miami as either a player, because you played there obviously, and or a coach, who was the best one? Who was the best player, the dog of the dogs?
Man, arguably the toughest question I would have to answer, just because
there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, it's just a different era. I mean, you're looking at, as a player, we lose 3-4 games in 5 years, and then as a coach, the renaissance, it's bringing Miami back. As a player, look at the guys I got to play with. I mean, from Michael Barrows to, I got there right after Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin was on the way out, that, Winston Moss had already left. Those guys, I used to pedal to practice to watch those guys go, but Cortez Kennedy came in with us. Wow. Russell Maryland was there already. Michael Barrow, Jesse Armstead, Ryan McNeil, Darrell Williams. I mean, Lamar Thomas. It goes on and on.
On and on.
But it was great. And then as a coach, I mean, as a GA, how about that as a GA? Your tackles are Bryant McKinney, Vernon Carey, Joaquin Gonzalez was an excellent player, Brett Romberg, Martin Bibla, Sherko. Your linebackers are Jonathan Bilma, DJ Williams. Safeties weren't too shabby, Ed Reed with, may he rest in peace, Sean Taylor coming in. I'll never forget being a GA and sitting there every Sunday. There was a couch outside the head coach's office, and on that couch every Sunday, waiting to meet with the head coach, were all the backs: Clint Portis, Najee Davenport, Edgar James, James Jackson. Preceding the arrival of Frank Gore, Willis McGahee. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to choose. I know that overall, the most decorated performer was Dan Morgan.
Yeah,
he was. He just was appointed even higher as an assistant general manager with the Bills. Phenomenal human being and competitor. But man, I mean, all the guys up there, the Jeremy Shockeys of the world, Bubba Franks, Tyler, I can't even. It would.
You don't know where to start on that one.
You'd have to go back and watch film for days. It was just too many, It kind of makes me realize how dead average I was after naming all those names.
Yeah, Dan Morgan. I got a chance to get to know Dan because I did all the NFL stuff, and
Right.
that was the first time. And I told him, I used to watch you play, and what a great human being, man. What a great person. And I'm so excited for him. He's worked his tail off and his success and getting the job. And he'll do a great job. He's a good
complete game changer. Complete game changer. Did it all at the highest level.
All right. So this is a question that I think I've had for like 15 years, and you're actually going to be the one that can answer it. All right. I've always had this fascination with Oregon's uniforms. I'm talking about love them. I mean, it's like I would before you were there, back when we were at Alabama, before that, I would just turn on. I may not even watch the game, but I'm going to turn it on to see what they're wearing that day just because it was curiosity. But how did the uniform combinations, because there's a gazillion of them, how do they get selected for each game?
That is a really top secret information.
Oh, that's secret? That's like secret stuff? Okay.
It's a tremendous process. We get a screening every summer up at headquarters with all the ideas, and this is 2 and 3 years out now. They are at work at this stuff. Yeah, it is unbelievable about presenting what are the potential combinations. But like I mentioned earlier, I mean, I have the fashion sense of an old.
You're not that bad now.
An old Sears, plaid wearing.
You're selling yourself short just a little bit. You're not. Trust me, I've seen worse. You're nowhere near bad.
But it's not my deal. And the last thing I want to do is make offensive lineman a guy in charge of selecting uniforms. So our players are heavily involved.
Okay.
And Nike itself with their uniform reps, they have an entire team and every product, from everything that every coach wears on the road to whatever travel suits that we have to go with it, to the apparel, the design of it, all that stuff. We take an entire day to go over there and they break it down for us. They take ideas, but they present a gazillion ideas of all the stuff they've been working on. And they work, again, 2 and 3 years out in advance to put it together. And then I really give a lot of freedom to the players. But from there, it's all top secret sauce stuff.
Gotcha.
Players find out, I believe the uniform unveiling is every Thursday, and the fans get jazzed up about that.
I'm always, because I had no idea, because every place is different. If you're at Alabama, you're wearing the same uniform every week, so it doesn't matter. But different places, it's different. But that was because I knew there was so many combinations. I was like, I didn't know how it happened. That's good.
Well, you know what, though, Tyler, they streamlined it a bunch because it felt that it had gone just too far away. It had gotten too much. The variety was too big, and it was watering down a real special product. So they streamlined it and just honed it up and brought it all together. And it's I can tell you what's coming up is even more and more and more impressive than what you've seen before. Actually, I had a chance to take a peek the other day, and it's so far over my head. I'm just honored that they include me in the process. Get to bring the players in there and let them. What looks good to them doesn't look good to me, but it doesn't matter. Whatever they feel great in, whatever Nike feels great about, that's what we go.
All right. So I know you like to eat. All right. But you work off whatever you eat. I know that. What is the best meal that you've ever had in a home visit? What's your go-to? What are you fired up about when you go to a home visit and you're like, yeah, we're eating gumbo or we're eating something. What are we eating?
if there's a place, first you got to secure a place nearby to eat in case the food isn't great.
This is true.
But I make sure that the car is packed with bars and shakes. Looks like a mini GNC on wheels. But best meal I've ever had. Man, I've had as good as steak, lobster, and crab, and
Okay.
had some great Mexican food. Man, I would. Oh, there's some parents that will kill me if I don't mention them on this one right here. I've had every kind of food. I mean,
Yeah, just hey, don't get anybody mad. Just say it's all good.
God, it's all good. It's man, how much did we miss that last year, right? Not being able to go and see people. I don't think everyone thinks it's just about being out there evaluating talent. It's not. I mean, if you enjoyed recruiting,
Yeah, that's my favorite part. Okay, I love like the recruiting process. Evaluating players. It doesn't matter. You're going to evaluate players every year. My favorite part of recruiting, and I tell people this all the time, recruiting to me is not watching film and saying yes, 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 no, he's got good change of direction. When you get to know the families and get in the home and you get to build those relationships, that's the part that I will always miss. Like, because that was kind of my deal. Let's go to the living room. That's where I can do my deal. Um, and you've mentioned this to me before, but like the other thing that makes you such a great recruiter, one is you can relate to everybody, but two is that's a way how, and if there's young coaches out there listening to me, the great recruiters are great in the living room because in today's society, everybody the younger coaches have grown up texting, and so it's very difficult to capture room and attention and build those relationships. And you can do that. You can text all you want to, but the guys that can build the relationships and capture a room and can go in there, that those are the guys that recruit players. And I think that's the part I miss. That's my baby. So I know that's your baby. You're a machine at that too. I can't think of many of them. I would rather have Bobby, but my man Mario, because I know that's your dude.
it's just fun, man. I mean, and what makes it great is just being yourself and
Yep.
with people. Look, if you're not being yourself, it's just not going to work. And we tell our staff all the time, don't ever put on a front, don't misinform anybody, because if there's a signature on an NLI based on something that's not factual, it's not going to work. Whether it takes a month, a week, a year, it doesn't fly. And we just, would you want that for your son? Heck no.
No.
Make sure it's done. Make sure the connection is exactly like you want it for your very own son when it's time for him to go away to school. And if you apply those principles and values to your approach, and you allow yourself to be you, and you allow yourself to have fun like it's supposed to be, it's gonna work out. Somehow, some way, it's gonna work out, and it's gonna be great for everybody. Whether it ends up being a signature to your school, or whether you find out, hey, great relationship, great, but it's probably not the best fit, you still gain a relationship and a friend. That's the best part about the whole process.
Yeah, there ain't no doubt, brother. No doubt. All right, if you can, well, this is gonna be the last question before we get to associate roulette, which is we're supposed to get some fun stuff here. But
Okay.
if you could give, if you could give one piece of advice, okay, from a college coach perspective, okay, to a potential recruit, we're not giving names and everything, but just general advice, what would be one piece of advice that you would give recruits in today's recruiting process?
To a advice in terms of the process itself, they're actually
Yeah, just like, so we started doing this stuff called quick tips, right? So, well, I mean, like today we talked about uh, when you go, like we just every day, just small things. And so today's deal was when you go to camps, be willing to work out at another position if the coach wants you to, because hundreds over the years, there's been hundreds of players that come to camps, and a coach will say, "Hey, I want to work. I don't know you're a quarterback, but can you take a couple reps at receiver?" That may be what they're evaluating you at, and hundreds of scholarships opportunities have been lost because the kids were like, "Nope, not doing it." So that was our advice today: is if a coach asks you, "Hey, jump in there and compete." So that kind of what would be your like just one general thing, anything?
and one. Ooh,
Yeah, I know there's a bunch. I told them I can do one every day for 10 years. I can pick one every day for 10 years.
Man, there's so many. I think you made a great point with the one that you made right there. I mean, you really have to be flexible. Look at Panay. He's playing right tackle right now, the Detroit Lions. You know,
Yep.
but that's after the fact. Um, I guess I would get to the root of it, of their entire process, and say and tell them, just decide early whether this is for you, whether you really love it and it's your passion, because it's too hard to make it work if it's not. And you really can't fake your way through this stuff. Eventually, it'll show itself. And if you love it, the tough moments that come with it, you're going to fight through them, because you understand that it's still a means to an end. There's a process in the path. If you don't, this is going to hit you square right between the eyes, and it's going to be very difficult to continue forging forward, knowing that this comes with this life choice. You would love this today. We sat with our players upstairs and wrote down their calendar, and the things that come with it, right? The sacrifices, the commitment, all that stuff. And then I wanted to marry up how this thing, we're all married to this commitment. Here's the coach's calendar for June. This June is different than any other June ever.
Hey, y'all can have it.
Right? If it's green, it's a camp. If it's red, it's an official visit. If it's in black, they're traveling that day. Here's a coach's calendar, and every single day it looks like a giant rainbow. It's just filled with color, and they're all just dropping. I'm like, well, I go, coaches in the back right there. I go, okay, so that guy, it's his son's graduation. He's gonna miss it. It's my son's birthday. That's out the window. We'll do it in July. His daughter is getting married. He's gonna have to hop on a red eye, get there, do it, and come right back. Hey, this went anniversaries, coaches. Everybody get married in June, of course, because that's when you have free time. They're all missing their anniversaries, right? Because, and then I said, and you know what? This is not to have a pat on the back. This is to let you know that we all are responsible for putting in our very best. And it takes what it takes. And this comes with this way of life. And we're all about this life, all about this life. And so they're like, man, wow, we didn't know. And it's like, yeah, you do it too. And we appreciate you. And this is our best way of showing our appreciation, by putting in the same time and the same effort for you, to make sure that we have a chance at our ultimate goals every single year. And it was an awesome meeting. And then John Gordon came in. He spoke to the team. It was great.
Yeah, that's what we've said this 100 times, and it's what you're saying. You have to love football more than you love recruiting, because the recruiting is going to come to an end, but football is going to continue on. And if you don't, it's not for everybody. And we were at a place where it wasn't for everybody. And so, you gotta love the football part, because that's what's going. If you love football, just like you said, it's going to carry you through all the tough times. But if you love recruiting more than you love football, that recruiting is going to end, and then you're going to hate, and it's going to crush your development, and then you know you're hopping the portal, and here we go. It's going to be a nightmare.
Amen.
All right, this is time for one of our best segments. It's called Associate Roulette. Okay, we got 8 associates here. All right. They've all got a question, but you're not going to answer them all. You just got to pick 2 of them. So pick a random number, 1 through 8.
4 and 8.
4 and 8. All right. So 4 comes from Clay Karcher. Clay worked with us at Alabama. Okay. He's working here with us. All right. So he says, you played at Miami with the Rock, Dwayne Johnson. He was a defensive lineman and you were an O lineman. So who won more one-on-one reps between you and the Rock in college?
Film. I'll make sure I get film so I can back up everything I say with video evidence. So until I get the film, I have to defer to another, what do you call it, Russian roulette question here, or whatever it is. So that way we can get him on the show, and then we can have our discussion in front of everybody.
There you go. There you go. There you go. That's fair. That's fair. All right. Eight comes from my man Connor Jeffries. Connor's worked for me here at Ole Miss for several years. But here's this question: of all the O line that you've coached, who would be your starting 5?
Come on, man.
That's unfair question, isn't it?
Yeah, you're gonna get me killed with.
I don't. Let's not get you
messages.
killed. Don't answer that. Because I know you. Here's the thing: is all your guys love you so much that I'm not going to get you killed. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. All right. So here we go. All right. So so instead I answer that question, this has been kind of a thing with all the coaches. Just a curious thing. Do you think have you seen all this stuff about the UFOs and stuff that are going on? Like the government releasing all this video of UFOs and stuff. Have you even seen that? Because I know you don't watch the news at all, but have you seen any of that?
Brother. Also, I don't think I've even watched TV since like Gilligan's Island. You know what I mean? So no, I haven't seen it. So, but I know there's a punchline coming somewhere here. So, but I'm ready for it. Go ahead.
Do you think there are aliens out there, or you think we're out here alone? Do you even have a preference?
Yeah, I knew I should have stayed more in touch with you and checked on asking questions
Hey,
like this.
I told my buddy the other day, I said, I'm gonna ask him that, and he's gonna think I've lost my mind. I've lost my marbles.
We will.
All right, so
make
the
sure I
last,
do that later. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. You're gonna have Jessica call Aaron and put me on medication when we get off
Absolutely.
this thing. All right, so here we go. Last question: what my wife wants to know. So, good question from Aaron for you. She said you've lived coast to coast, top to bottom, east to west. When it's time to hang the whistle up, where are you and Jessica going to retire?
There's no retiring.
You gonna whistle it till you're 6 feet under?
There's no doubt. We're gonna keep rolling in Autzen Stadium, man, till I can't blow a whistle anymore. It's there's absolutely zero. You know me well enough where I'm too boring of a human being to do anything else.
You're not that bad.
Hobbies. So I love what I do. So I can't even fathom I can't even fathom not having a team meal on a Friday. You know what I mean? I can't imagine a fall where it's not, travel time or final walkthrough time or a preparation time. So I can't even imagine it. So
Yeah.
I'll be in
I,
Autzen,
I I told
in Autzen Stadium.
I told Aaron that was going to be your answer. I knew the answer before I asked the question. But you're not boring. You're good. You're fun to hang out with. So don't yeah, you don't you got to cut yourself a little slack.
Yeah, if you like football.
Well, I mean, most men do. That's why it's a fun topic. Well, Mario, look, man, I appreciate your time, brother. I wish you all the success in the world. I cannot wait. I know, again, you can't say this, but I can. I know what you got coming back, and I know you got some cats, and I can't wait to see what happens this fall. I'll be pulling for you, you know that. And y'all got me staying up late at night watching the Pac-12 at night, but I love it. So it's on my TV it's like 10 o'clock over here when it comes on, but I'm watching it every Saturday night, brother. So good luck to you, and thank you so much for your time.
I will have my mom, who's in Miami. She has to go through the same. 1 hour actually later, she will send you a fresh batch of Cuban coffee.
Cuban
Yeah.
coffee, baby. I love it. Hey, I will be so juiced. I'll be ready to go, baby.
I appreciate you. Obviously, super proud of you, all things that you've accomplished. Please say hello to the family. Been an honor being on here, brother. God bless.
You bet it, brother. Thank you, man.